Hey, what's up, everyone? Mike Kirsten here, and today we'll be taking a look at Jahmyr Gibbs' 40-yard dash from the NFL Combine a couple years ago. He ran a 4.36, and just to break down the numbers, some of the splits, so he ran a 152 in the first 10, super fast first 10, really good acceleration. Then he ran 252 to the 20, which means the 10 to 20 was just 1 second, which is 20.4 miles an hour. Again, really fast. There's people that have a hard time getting to a 1 second split when they're getting to their top speed, let alone being able to get to that split within just a few steps. Under 12 steps, they're already running 20 miles an hour, over 20 miles an hour. And then the last split, 184, that's the last 20. So again, essentially I just went and minus 436 minus the 252, and that is going to be 184. And that's going to be 22 miles an hour. That's the average over the last 20 yards. Is running 22 miles an hour. It means he probably got a little bit above that. It's 22.2. Probably got up to like 22.5, I would guesstimate. Maybe a little bit higher within the 40. But let's take a look at some of the things that he does really well. I always like this front view when it comes to the acceleration. And what is just really impressive with somebody that is his size, 5'9", about 200 pounds, he does a great job of being able to get a lot of range in these first few steps, and is also doing a really good job of getting the foot to come straight forward and through, not wasting a lot of motion. This is a lot of times what I talk about when it comes to being able to get a good position within the foot. I know it looks like it's a little bit off to the side, but it's still in like a flat position. He's not really arched here. And so what that does is makes it so then as that foot's striking the ground, he's able to do that with a position where now he can absorb into the ground correctly. Because when you have the foot flat, then when you hit, then the absorption of the weight goes out to in. You can kind of see how it does that here. He hits and the weight goes here. It's a great position, really perfect position to be in. Knee facing straight ahead, foot facing straight ahead, but slightly outside of the hip. Got the head over the toe for the most part, and then really quickly absorbs it, pushes right back off, and has that opposite knee coming right through, has that opposite foot coming right through, gets into a good dorsiflex position, and then goes into the next step. I just did a breakdown talking about acceleration, and we saw a similar thing here. This step is a little bit wide, and this is where, you know, some of these things end up kind of breaking down, which is always interesting. So he's really clean in those first 4 steps. As he gets into his acceleration, I mean, we obviously know he is a very high level, talented person, talented athlete, has a lot of body control, all those types of things. But we start to see some of the things that break down here as he gets into a few of these steps, like this step number 9 here. So this is 7, a little bit past that line, 8, 9. He's coming a little bit across here, ends up landing in not a great position on that step. Able to rebound quickly though with number 10, 11, still a little bit off. You can see how turned out he is here, and this is as he's going through that transition phase, and just interesting to see. I'm obviously not saying he's anything wrong. If anything, I'm saying it's so impressive how he ran 4.36 while not having extremely clean technique. And this is the difference between what we look at when we're watching Olympians, right? The gold medal finisher, gold medal winner, Noah Lyles, somebody like that, Kashane Thompson. They are just able to execute on so much higher of a level. This would be the difference between winning and losing a race at that level. Just to give an idea of how in-depth you have to go when it comes to the technique. Now, when you see that foot kind of turn off to the side, essentially what just happened here is he took a bad step as he was going through that transition phase, ended up kind of turning off to the side, landing a little bit more on the outside here, but was still able to get plenty of distance, was again able to recover well. This step wasn't bad, and is just really still able to maintain the relaxed position. I think he did a good job not worrying, not freaking out, just getting back into his proper mechanics. Again, we could see 1, 2, 3, 4 really good first 4 steps there. Great body position, great body control, getting a lot of range in those first 4 steps. I love that body position or the spine position here. Notice how he's getting that full extension right here. Just a beautiful angle to be in. 34 degrees. 2, 3, 4. You can maybe make the argument he's getting a little bit high with the feet, but it's like one of those things where you wouldn't really want to mess with it, right? If he's running 152, I would say that's not something that you really need to be able to adjust, really need to work on. Just kind of maybe make some technical things to me within that transition, right? Because like through here, even the first 7 steps, He's not in a bad spot. I think this is the first step that kind of threw him off, was this 8th step. He's a little bit more out in front. We could see with this step here, 7th step, he's landing with that foot right underneath really good. This step, he's a little bit more out in front, a little bit more on the heels. And I think that's what started the bad transition. Then he landed a little bit worse on this 9th step. Again, really far out in front. And kind of rushed through the transition because of that. Okay, this is that 11th step that we saw was really turned off to the side. But again, didn't panic, right? If anything, he looks more relaxed than ever as he's continuing to accelerate, getting into the top speed. He still gets so much range. We still don't see this when he's running now, where he gets so much extension back here within the foot and gets a great position of his knee, great position of his ankle, his foot. Everything is getting a good amount of height, but he still has the ability to cycle that leg right back and through, so then he can control foot strike. He ended up running at about 20 and a half steps, right? This was his 20th step. That's his 20 and a half step. Again, got to 22 miles an hour. To me, what stands out is like he ran 4.36 here, ran 4.4 on the first run. He probably could have ran closer to 4.3 even if he goes through that acceleration phase a little bit better. Again, really impressive to get to 20 in 2.52. But that was with kind of taking a bad 11th step there. You know, really 9, 10, 11 to me weren't great steps. Okay. And going back into some of the things that he does really well with the mechanics, again, landing with the foot on the outside part of or landing with his foot slightly outside of his hip, continuing to get that knee coming straight through. Look at how big his thighs are, how big his legs are, but he still has that position. Okay. This is where I think for a lot of athletes, you want to be able to go and take a look at some of this stuff within your own running, right? Get a back view, get a front view. I always like the back view. I think it tells a lot of the story within the foot, right? You could see the same story within the knee drive. You could see the same kind of story within the hip. You know, maybe it would be a little bit different seeing the knee drive here from the front in comparison to the back. But to me, when I'm looking at the back, you could see it fine with how well we're able to get the knee through. But what you see is a totally different picture when it comes to the foot and how we're landing and how we're controlling it there. And again, he does a great job being able to stabilize it. I think there's some things that maybe, you know, are not technically perfect with his arms as he's at top speed here, right? That right arm's getting really far back. He's really getting more of a straight elbow position right there. Can maybe look into not having as good of glute activation because of stuff like that. But again, some of these things are like, what would you really want to correct? You look at somebody like a Peyton Manning or a Tom Brady, and you see their throwing mechanics, and it's like, are those things that are really impacting their overall performance? Kind of similar thing here. We could look at Noah Lyles, we could look at Tyreek Hill, we could look at Jahmyr Gibbs, and yeah, we could find maybe some things that are technically not by the textbook, but running 4.36, probably having the best season out of any running back in the NFL right now, has certainly run the fastest out of anybody or any running back in the NFL this season. And so, you know, he's performing at a very high level. Yeah, take some certain tweaks end up being important, but do you want to sacrifice potential performance because of, you know, making certain tweaks? That ends up being in the opinion of the coach and the athlete, and the relationship that you have within the coach and the athlete, and have a clear communication where it's like, does that work? Does that not work? And then make the, you know, adjustments from there. That would just be my philosophy. That's not obviously something that you have to do as a listener here, you know, just trying to provide some good educational content, make it so you can run a faster 40. Hopefully I'm going to be able to break down you running a 4.36 in the near future if you're watching this as an athlete. And a lot of the things I think he does here are going to be things that could help you in being able to transform your run. If you can get down into a 1.5 in that first 10, that's going to be really beneficial for you. Continuing that acceleration, I always tell people the best thing to do is to get that acceleration right. You got to get down into the 2.5, 2.6 range. You know, mid 2.6 puts you in a good spot to be able to run a very respectable 40. And so make sure you're getting great within that. And then once you get under 2.6, then you are very, very fast. And that would put you amongst the elite athletes in your age group for sure, especially if you're like a high school athlete. If you were able to run in the 2.5s in that first 20, that's a really, really strong place to be. So Hopefully this is beneficial. If you're looking to get a faster 40, you can go ahead and check out some of the links that we have down below, whether it's the Speed School, the Faster 40 program. Both of those are super beneficial. With the Faster 40 program, you actually get a laser system too, because I want to help you get the results that you're looking for. And I think the best way to do that is to make it so you can get objective feedback. And that's why I provide that laser system with it. So check that out in the link down below. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.